Hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box. Now, there are many cities or regions around the world associated with a certain kind or even certain kinds of music. There's the Motown sound, the Memphis sound of Stax. There was the LA rock sound of the 80s, glamorous type of rock. The LA rock sound of the 70s that was typified by bands like both the Eagles on the one hand and Van Halen. There was East Coast hip hop, West Coast hip hop, the Birmingham sound of heavy metal from the UK, and the list could go on and on. But one of the very most successful, very regionally based sounds in all of music was the Philadelphia soul sound that hit its peak in the 1970s. And while people still talk about Motown and make references to the music, or talk about Nashville in references to the sort of center of country and Western music, why don't we hear about Philadelphia anymore? Because just look at the kinds of bands that came out of there. And I'm just going to go through some of them in no particular order. There was one of my very favorites of all time, the Stylistics. Now, before we get into them, let's talk about what the Philadelphia sound groups all had in common. I think it was George Clinton who said that the Philly sound was like putting the bow tie on funk, which is a good metaphor for what's happened, for what was going on there. But I think more specifically, it was music that borrowed from contemporary funk, soul, and R&B, but with an emphasis retained on vocal harmony at a time when things were becoming more about having a diverse number of instruments in your band. So at a time when things were focusing more on instrumentation and diversity of instruments, the Philadelphia sound modernized the typical vocal harmony tradition that had been a part of Black vocal music and Black pop music, moreover, for many, many decades. Think doo-wop, think early Motown, and the Philadelphia Soul brought this into the 70s. It modernized it, and there was a bit of romanticism to it. The arrangements were generally very laid back, but arranged in such a way that nevertheless gave it a thick sound, even though it wasn't a forceful one. I mean, just look at these songs by the Stylistics. You Are Everything and Everything Is You. Bet You by Golly Wow, I'm Stone in Love with You. You Make Me Feel Brand New. I mean, so many hits. And the hits continued, frankly, way into the 80s when they even had a revival. One of the absolute finest vocal bands of all time, as were the Delphonics, another vocal band from Philadelphia from this time. You'll know La 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 means I love you. So many hits. Again, didn't I blow your mind this time? Even South Park referenced it. That's how much a part of the pop culture it's become. Ready or Not, Here I Come, sampled by so many people in hip hop. The Fugees, Lauryn Hill, they sampled that as well. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, which had so many hits of their own and launched the career of the super talented and ultimately tragic figure of Teddy Pendergrass with that low, booming, soulful voice, a sex symbol for the 70s, if there ever was one. And the stuff that he did with Harold Melvin was really, really excellent stuff. So many hit singles. Don't Leave Me This Way, for instance, he was the lead singer on that. Really, really big. Thelma Houston later remade that. The Love I Lost, which has been remade so many times, he sung lead vocals on that as a member of Harold Melvin, and then breaking out as a solo artist, one of the most successful solo artists from the Philadelphia song, Love TKO. Huge hit, sampled by so many people, had a tragic car accident in the mid 80s, became paralyzed, but still later on continued to perform. Blue Magic, what an interesting band they were. and Sideshow from their first album, first track of their first album, no less. What a truly beautiful song that is. The Tramps, another big Philadelphia group that had this song. They were more on the disco side with Disco Inferno, but still very much rooted in this vocal sound of the 70s. It wasn't just male groups because there were the Jones Girls, who are one of my absolute favorite bands. And you should definitely check out the 1982 album On Target. Frankly, check out all of the stuff they did. At Peace with the World is another great one. People like Lou Rawls, another great Philadelphia soul man. Teddy Pendergrass wrote a lot of the songs that they did. Really, really good stuff. So the Jones Girls, don't pass them by at all. Um, just going back to the discography, I want to make sure I'm recommending everything that I really, really like. Yeah, Keep It Coming, another one from 1984 that was really, really good by the Jones Sisters. So definitely, or the Jones Girls, rather, excuse me, definitely check that out. Um, so the Philadelphia soul sound, how to describe it? It was varied, and because it was very modern, I think it lasted a lot longer than some other subgenres of soul. Because as you see with the Jones Girls, with Teddy Pendergrass, with the Stylistics having a revival in the 80s, they really did have longevity with this sound. Why it's not talked about so much today? I think maybe because it was a victim of its own success. In the 70s, you had so many different flavors of funk and soul, and all of them were quite successful, and all of them relied on a lot of talent and a lot of virtuosity. And the Philadelphia sound was one of the most popular of all. The Spinners, how could I forget the Spinners? Wonderful band from this sound. It was AM radio friendly, and yet FM radio audiences could dig it. It was TV friendly, it was album friendly, and single friendly. It covered so many bases. So definitely check out these and other groups that form that Philadelphia sound. It was a super popular genre, and I frankly think that it really holds up today a lot better than, frankly, some others. So, like, subscribe here, check out Philadelphia Soul, and we'll see you next time. Take care.